I'm just worried, man. T-minus 24 hours until my parents get home. We're gonna have to just have an absolute killer day here.
Sure, what are you gonna do to my house, George? Oh God!
The mastery of Ed the Pond Professor. If you're sitting at home watching this, give him a little round of applause. He can hear you, I promise.
Matt and I are going to start cutting carpet out. Once we can expose all this stuff, then we'll mark everything out on the ground. We have all of the lumber outside. We'll start setting up our workshop outside so we could actually start building and cutting all the different pieces. We will also bring down the filters. So we have to put in that mechanical filter over here. We want to position that where we think that's going to be located, as well as the biological filter back on that side. We're putting in our framing. So this is treated 2x12 lumber. This will allow any moisture or anything like that on the bottom. It'll be okay. It'll be safe from rotting. We went with a 2x12 because we want a really wide wall. Remember, this whole thing has got to be structural. We have to resist the weight of all that water that's going to be pushing in all directions around the outside perimeter, wanting to blow the walls out. So this wide plate that we're putting down on the bottom will give us the necessary bite basically onto the concrete itself. We'll come in with a series of concrete anchors, bolt that stuff down, and then we'll keep putting all of our walls in place. Our biofalls over here, that's going to go in the far corner. It's going to be raised up on a little bit of a platform to give us the right elevation. So we're going to start to see some of this stuff actually coming together this afternoon. Okay, we are moving along. We made a little bit of a mess. We're coming in with our Forstner bit, allowing us to countersink the bolts down into the wood. We came in literally every foot. We want to make sure we don't have any movement in this wall. You can see the majority of the holes are on the inside edge. And the reason we have that is this wall is going to be like this. The water is going to be pushing this way. It's going to want to create like a fulcrum. It's going to want to pop that edge up. The majority of the screws are on this side to resist that force. The anchors that we have, they have a pull-out force of approximately 3,000 pounds. We finished putting in the corner structures. This is going to take really the brunt of the load. That glass panel is going to come all the way here to the top, so we're really trying to make this all bomb-proof. We made a little bit of a bench down here in the bottom. One of the key things that we have to make sure that we're doing is all of these surfaces have to be parallel to each other, because when we put that piece of glass up there, the glass is not going to want to conform too easily. So that's a thick piece of 3/4 inch glass. Over the top of this, we are going to go with some more 3/4 inch plywood, which will help kind of bridge over some of these gaps and everything, and then that will create a good surface for us for our rubber liner, and then that's going to make a nice surface for our silicone sealant. And then we will make our way all the way back this way to our biofalls. This is the main biological filter. We will need a platform for this, so this has to probably get raised up about a foot. This is where our skimmer filter is going to be located. So this will have our pump inside. We'll be able to go from our piping right along the wall over here into the back of that filter. Matt is cutting a channel right now. The reason for this channel is on the other side of this wall is the sump pump. We are going to make like a drain. That's a fail-safe. In case there's any water, moisture, anything that comes in the bottom of this, we're going to have a false bottom on top of the concrete. We're going to use our drainage panels. We're going to set in a 3/4 inch piece of PVC. It's going to go through this channel, through the corner of the wall, into the sump pit. We will also silicone all the joints on the bottom, so if there is any water, it's going to keep it contained inside of the perimeter of this entire tank here. So by putting those drainage panels in, we're not going to have the rubber liner sitting directly on the concrete, so we want to have a good airflow into the bottom. We will have to do a secondary hole going through the wall. It's going to go a little bit higher, so we're going to have our platform here for our biofalls. Biofall will sit in place. We're going to have a drain going through. That way George could easily open up that valve. He can drain out any excess water. He can clean out the filters, and it's going to go very quickly and efficiently. So it's great having that little sump pit over on the back side of the wall. then we just got to build that wall. We got to continue coming up there. Plywood has been screwed into place. George just went around the perimeter and did another bead of silicone all the way around on that treated edge. We're now putting our drainage panels on top of the concrete. Three-dimensional panel allows water movement in all directions. Super, super strong. It's going to allow water flow as well as airflow. Then we're going to come over the top of this with our heavy-duty geotextile. We'll start getting everything ready for the rubber liner. We also have to do this last piece of wood panel over here. Skimmer box is going here. We're going to have our plumbing going inside of that wall over to our filter, to the sump pit. That will allow George to do easy maintenance on a routine basis. We put in our first pieces of steel. Now we're just checking everything to make sure it fits. We're just putting in a few of the screws to hold everything, made sure everything is lining up the way we want it. We're going to pull those apart and then it will be remounted once the rubber liner is in place. Everything looks good. We have a 4-inch reveal. Glass is going to drop down. It's going to sit directly on that metal plate. We're going to take these pieces apart, clean off the steel, then we have to seal them. We're going to put a rubberized coating over the steel to help protect it from corrosion. This will help it last for many, many decades underwater. We have a couple challenges that popped up. Couldn't get our plumbing connected over here. We were just literally millimeters away from making the connection and it just would not go. George had a great idea. Instead of going through this one, I think we're going to go on the other side of the furnace over on this side. That'll give us a more direct route, and then on the other side of the wall we can make a 90 to get over to that sump pit area. It's a little bit of a challenge now. In the long run though, it'll definitely be worth it. Hopefully that'll go smoothly. We'll be able to make that final connection over to the skimmer system.
I'm just worried, man. We're like T-minus 24 hours until my parents get home. We're gonna have to just have an absolute killer day here if we're gonna finish this before they have the chance to get home and take it back down.
I agree. I think we're gonna make it happen though. We got.
But that's what Team Aquascape does, right?
That's
like
it.
You guys are always down to the wire. So I'm putting my money on. If I'm putting my money on anyone, I got it on you guys.
All right, let's make it happen. So the plumbing is in. 2 pipes here. One obviously is going to be feeding from the pump that goes right here. That's going to go on this upper pipe, which goes all the way down over into a 2-inch T. That T goes into the biofalls, which is going to create that upflow biological filter. The other part of the T goes through the wall over into the sump area, and that's going to be for maintenance purposes only. So our next steps, I'm going to start putting the wood back in place. We will start putting in the underlayment fabric, and then after that we'll be ready for our liner, and then we can start doing glass. Structure is complete, plumbing's done, biofalls connected, skimmers connected. So this heavy duty felt material is going to create a cushion. It's also going to allow the back of the liner to breathe. I'm not going to come in with one big giant sheet. Because of the shape that we have, we'll end up with a bunch of weird folds. So this way I can keep it nice and clean, and I will cut a separate piece for the bottom. It's going to be the best way to do it in this particular application. Okay, our rubber liner's in place. We also have our heavy felt down as well. This is our rock pad material. We are now going to bring in some boards to go over the top of all of this, just to hold the rubber liner in place, and then we can start bolting the steel, create a steel frame which is going to hold the glass pane, which is located over here. The first layer of hardware is installed. You can see we have all of our angle iron pieces that are in place. They're all bolted, they're sealed. So our next step is going to be to go get the piece of glass. So we're going to drop that in place. The glass is going to come in. It's going to sit about 1/2 of an inch off of this edge. It's going to sit flush right on top of this. So this will take the weight of it, which will be nice. The metal plates will go over these little studs coming out. So when we tighten that nut up, it's going to be like a compression joint. It'll draw that entire piece of steel in place, and that'll lock everything up for us.
The glass is like, I think, my favorite part of the entire build. That's what I'm most excited about, because in the winter time, you get to enjoy the koi from the surface, looking down. But this pond is different because you can see through it with the glass pan. Yeah.
It's 2 a.m.
It's 2 a.m.
And oh my gosh, thank you so much for staying up. Making it all happen
right?
Before they get back.
Start filling this thing up first thing in the morning. We obviously got to get some wood up here on the top, trim up liner, that type of stuff, but it'll be full of water. That's the main thing at this point.
All right, guys, we'll see you in the morning. We're gonna get 4 hours of sleep. We're waking up at 6 a.m. to fill this up. Parents are coming in now. 7 hours? We gotta go. We gotta go sleep. All right, good talk.
Oh, George, you're in so much trouble.
George, what are you gonna do to my house, George? Oh God! Fire that guy! Right away! That guy, oh!
Trouble.
And despite this being a surprise, I do thank you. The fact that you spent a week here and put all the work and time into doing this, wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope you enjoy it.
And from me, no comments.
Well, that is a wrap for George's project. Finished doing all the little woodwork around the perimeter. Everything looks incredible. Let me show you what we just completed. I can't wait till we get the fish back inside of this, as well as all that cool stonework and those unique little pieces from Universal Stone. So here's that final little wood trim we did. Cleaned up all the silicone around it. Everything is functioning properly. Still got to clean the glass a little bit, but everything cleared up really, really nice. Loving the overall outcome. Can't wait to see fish in here.
Trying to get the GoPro up here so we can get the sweet time lapse. Actually, whoever's editing this, cue the time lapse right now.